If you could get $22,000 to start to buy a rent-to-own home in the next 27 days, would you take it? What if I told you that there's a grant right now that you can start to get this month that gives you $22,000 to be able to start to buy your rent-to-own home, even if you have low credit or low savings? Today, I'm going to show you how real people are using grants just like these to start to buy their rent-to-own homes and how you can do the same and start in the next 27 days. Hey, it's Rindy from AskRinde, and I've helped thousands of people from all across the United States learn how to buy rent-to-own homes the smart way, using grants, housing programs, and step-by-step strategies to start and go from rent to own. So today's video is all about one of the best kept secrets in real estate, how to use free money, yes, real grants, to go from renting to owning, and how you can start to use these resources now. So as I've shared here on my channel over the last several years, there are many grants that are available, not just for business, but also for real estate. Now there are grants that are available for real estate on the city level and also on the state level. So currently in the state of New Jersey, there's the NJHMFA grant that's available. Now this is a $22,000 grant that you can actually use towards actually purchasing your home. So the grant comes in the form of a down payment assistance or standard down payment assistance. And it's $15,000 or DPA for the standard down payment assistance and $7,000 for first generation buyers. Now there's criteria that goes along with these down payment assistance programs, and not only that, but also the grants, the city level grants or the state level grants that are coming in the form of forgivable funding. So this is forgivable funding and grants that you do not have to pay back, free money that you don't have to pay back, that can help you to be able to not only rent to own the property, but also help you to be able to pay for your down payment assistance as well as closing costs that are related. When you're purchasing real estate, outside of the fact that you're purchasing the property for a specific amount, there are various costs that are associated with it. You have closing costs, and those closing costs can vary depending on your lender, depending on the taxes, depending on many factors that come into play when it comes to purchasing the house. Having down payment assistance, having grants that can help you to be able to buy the house can go a long way. Specifically when you're doing rent to own, grants can help you recover your option fee, your closing costs, and also help you recover some of your move-in expenses. The great thing about rent to own is that you actually start to experience home ownership sooner rather than later. So there's some key requirements that goes along with getting the grants to be able to get your rent to own home. Specifically for this grant, they actually require that you actually be a first-time home buyer. Now, a great thing is that we work with a lot of people who are starter homeowners. These are starter first-time buyers. So having a grant program that can match with your rent to own can actually be a great thing, because not only you're in the house, you're actually in the process, but you can actually take your time and not be under a compulsion or a rush in order to be able to go through the program and get the grant for the house. So they require that you actually be a first-time home buyer. Also, their income limits. So based on the location, generally is tied to about 140% of the area's median income. In addition to that, this must be your primary residence. So generally, when you're going to be getting this particular grant, you must use the property as your primary residence. It can't be for like an investment property. There are grants for investment properties, but for this one, it must be your primary residence. Also, the other thing that they look at is your credit score. So you must have a minimum 620 credit score for this particular grant. They also look at your debt to income and the requirements there. Now, the other thing about this grant is that it can actually be used to purchase various types of residential property. So the great thing about grants, and this grants for rent to own, is that you can actually use this to purchase a single family residence. You can actually use the grant to purchase a townhouse. You can use the grant to buy a condo. You can also use the grant to buy multifamily real estate from 2 to 4 units. So this is actually a huge value, because you can start not only your home ownership of having your starter home and starting in real estate, starting to own real estate and going from rent to owning, but you can also start to go from renting to owning by utilizing this grant and matching it with rent to own and become an instant landlord. So this is one of the grants from our forgivable funding list, which you'll find in our rent to own community. So how does this work? So let's say you find a rent to own home like the one we're showing you now, which is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It has a full living room, as you can see, has a dining room, has also a full basement as well as a 2-car garage. The monthly rent on this particular property is $1,600, and the option fee, your option fee to be able to start the process and start the rent to own, is $3,000. Well, you can actually use this grant to cover your $3,000 option fee as well as your closing costs when you go to buy the property later. The great thing about rent to own is that you're going to be building equity as you're in the house. So not only is the value of you having the ability to be able to rent and not only start home ownership sooner rather than later, but you're also building equity because the property is appreciating in value, pending and leading up to you purchasing and closing on the property. Now, the great thing about the grant is that it's going to help you to reduce the burden of closing costs that are associated with you closing on the property. But the beautiful thing about it is that you're already in the property, you're actually gaining equity, and you're also having the grant to be able to help you to offset any closing costs that are relating to just closing. So there are lenders that are actually earmarked, and particularly with this grant program, and all the forgivable funding sources which we include in our list, they also participate with these programs and these grants that are available to purchase residential property, commercial property, and also investment property. And the beautiful thing about rent to own is that it not only gives you the ability to get grants to buy the property when you're buying it later, but it also puts you in a place where you can actually repair your credit. You can do a lot of things during the time that you're in the property. You're enjoying the property, you're experiencing it, but you're also repairing your credit. You're also having the ability to look at not only grants, but also other down payment assistance and factors that you can actually add on. And also helps you to be able to save up more money as well as add value to the property, which will help it appreciate in value. So as I've shared here many times on my channel over the years, rent to own is the bridge in real estate. It's how I got started, and it's actually the best way for you to start to not only own property, but also it's the best way for you to start to invest in property. As I shared earlier, you can utilize this grant to be able to buy a 2 to 4 unit property. You can actually buy the property, live in one unit, rent out the other 3 units. If it's a 2-family, which is a duplex, I highly recommend that you actually look for a duplex with a finished basement with a separate entrance from the outside. You can actually live in one unit and rent out the other 2. And you can do it via rent to own. We have a duplex rent to own list in our community, which you can actually check out that list. You can actually also see 4-unit rent to own properties, which we include in our list. So this is all available for you, and you have to just know how to put the pieces together. If you're working with us as your rent to own realtor, we can help you facilitate not only finding the property, but also we can help you navigate the process so you can go from renting to owning. So who qualifies for grants to be able to buy a rent to own home? Well, generally, if you're a first-time home buyer, you can qualify for a grant if you meet income limits to be able to buy your rent-to-own home. So we just started in New Jersey, but we're going to be featuring lenders that have forgivable funding from all around the country on our channel here at AskRinde to share with you how to go about the process of connecting with them. We've actually included in our 27-day rent-to-own challenge the list of forgivable funding sources, the lenders, the grants that are available for you to be able to buy rent-to-own homes with, and also a detailed script of what to ask. So there are certain questions that when you reach out to these lenders, you want to be able to ask them regarding with the process. You want to be able to ask them regarding your qualifications and the property's qualifications, the locations, and all the things that you may need in order to be able to be informed as to what's involved in getting qualified for the grant, so you can get that for this rent-to-own property. We've included the script to be able to help you to be able to ask the lender. So you can not only start to find the property in the next 27 days, but you can also get access to the grants and start the process of qualifying for the grants in the next 27 days. Now, I want to warn you that grants like these are time sensitive. As you see the current environment, that there are some grants that are being rescinded and funding is drying up. These grants that are still available, I highly encourage you to go for them now sooner than later, because we don't know if the funding will still be there and available to give you the money, the free money that you don't have to pay back to buy your first home. So don't wait too long, or don't wait at all. Take action so you can get access to this $22,000 grant before someone else does. You can actually start to build your future, and going from renting to owning, start to build equity, start to build your net worth, start to build your legacy, but most importantly, have stability, have home ownership, and have something to look forward to for your future and your family. So as affordability is drying up everywhere around the country, there's a way that you can actually position yourself and your family so that you can actually afford to live and be able to actually enjoy life. You know, we've actually created a happy list, and this happy list is actually a list of homes that are under $1,200 per month. Many people, their biggest expense is their monthly overhead, where they live, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's rent, and it's just choking many people and it's straining them. It's very painful. Aside from that, it's very difficult to find affordable living. Whether you're looking at renting, whether you're looking at owning, you need to know the balance of the two. You need both. You need to know how to actually find affordable rents. You also need to know how to find affordable properties that you're going to buy and be able to afford it. So the key here is actually learning how to marry the two. Now, working with a rent-to-own realtor can help you not only find a rent-to-own home, but it can also help you to position yourself so that you and your family can consolidate, come together, and be able to afford where you live and make life easier for everyone. We're working with a lot of families right now that are purchasing strategic properties, some that are rent-to-own, some that are rent or owned. And they're actually finding out that it's less hassle and it's more affordable to get a house than rent separately. So if you're tired of renting, you're tired of struggling to afford to live, and you want to go from rent to own, you want to experience what it's like to actually own your own home, have a backyard, have your own driveway, have a front yard, have peace of mind where you actually have space. You have space to be able to actually call family over, have family stay over, have family stay with you where you guys can actually share the bills together and have basically the joy of having your own home, not having the burden of paying someone else's and building someone else's wealth. You can actually build your own wealth by actually appreciating the property, doing capital improvements, investing in the property, helping your curb appeal, making the property look beautiful, and also increasing the value, which will actually benefit you. If you want to go from renting to owning, then I encourage you to join us in our 27-day rent-to-own challenge. Inside our 27-day rent-to-own challenge, we're going to give you a free trial link of where you can actually find hidden rent-to-own homes. You also see in the 27-day rent-to-own challenge the grants list. Our grants list that can actually help you to go from renting to owning. There are grants in all 50 states that you can actually use to go from rent to own, to start your value and you start your process to home ownership. And we show you those grants, and we have a grants list included. We also have a properties list for all 50 states, so you can start to see potential rent-to-own homes in your area. Homes that you can drive by, homes that you can actually check out to actually see if they fit the criteria of what you're looking for. If they're large in size, if they're small in size, if it's a condo, if it's a townhouse, we have all types of properties inside our 27-day rent-to-own challenge. We have single-family homes, we have mansions, we have multi-families, we have duplexes, we have buildings, we have condos, we have all types of properties that you can actually source by actually accessing the free trial link in order to be able to see potential rent-to-own homes in your area. We also show you how to negotiate rent-to-own the smart way. It's a key way to be able to position yourself to start to get rent-to-own homes and actually negotiate to be able to get the property the proper way, and we show you how to do that inside the 27-day rent-to-own challenge. And the great thing about the 27-day rent-to-own challenge is that it's a daily step-by-step process of what you need to do. There's no guesswork. So from day 1 to day 27, you're guided. You're given the tools. You're also given the step-by-step process of what you need to be doing on a daily basis to get your rent-to-own home. And there's goals that we set for you in the beginning, so you just need to follow along so you can actually meet your goal at the end of the challenge, and you can actually see the results of going from renting to owning. There's testimonials inside the 27-day rent-to-own challenge where you can see success stories of people who've actually started the challenge and also completed it and have success with rent-to-own. Not just buying their first home, but also using rent-to-own to be able to invest in real estate. We use rent-to-own for various reasons. At this point, because of the fact that I've been rent-to-own for so many years and I bought my first property via rent-to-own many years ago, I use rent-to-own to invest, to expand my family's portfolio. And I also encourage those who are actually first-time home buyers to start home ownership by going via rent-to-own, because all of us start by renting. So you can actually start to own sooner rather than later. Why wait? You can actually start now. You don't want to be renting forever because you're just going to be building somebody else's wealth. But with smart rent-to-own strategies and grants like these that I just shared, you can go from renting to owning and stop the pain of just renting on a monthly basis, paying somebody else's mortgage. So if you'd like to learn more about our monthly grants and rent-to-own homes that are available, make sure you connect with us in our rent-to-own community. Also, leave a comment in the comment section below if you'd like to learn more about what grants may be available in your particular area. And also let us know where you're from. Shout out your area so that we can actually cover you and see what grants are available for renting to own in that particular area. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me anytime. Make sure you watch this next video because we actually give you details step by step on how you can actually not only get started on rent to own, but how you can start investing in real estate via rent to own. So make sure you check out this next video, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. If you have any questions, you can also email me. My email address is AskRindeNetwork@gmail.com. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.